Hello and welcome back to Drunken Time Travel 5. Can you believe it? 5.
That many already?
That many already. It seems like months. And this month, this week, what month? What we're doing, 3 weeks?
It's probably a month as well.
Probably a month.
Yeah, it's every 3 weeks.
Probably a month on Mars, who knows. Yes, we're reviewing The Keys of Marinus, which was written by the same guy who did the Daleks. So
yes.
We're expecting big things with this. Well, we're not, but...
maybe not things as big as the Daleks, I don't know.
Maybe not things as big as the Daleks.
No.
Were the Daleks big?
They were bulky. They took a lot of space up.
Yeah, they're not good if you've only got a small amount of storage space.
Yes, they can't hide under the bed or anything.
Yeah, what you might need is a travel Dalek. But anyway, moving on. Starting from this one, we're going to be drinking the same beer. Well, not from the same glass, I should hasten to add. But we're drinking the same beer, so at least we can compare and contrast. You know, like your old English essays.
This is like homework or something.
This is like, you're already complaining about the work you've had to do. Tell the gentle viewers what we're drinking today.
Yes, today we are sampling Carling.
That's Carling.
That's about as good as I'm going to sell this one.
It's a beer.
Yes, it's got alcohol in it.
Pedestrian.
I think. We'll get back to that later anyway, I presume. Meanwhile, on to The Keys of Marinus.
Yes.
Which was originally broadcast during April and May of 1964.
Go with your synopsis there, Gav. And it goes something like this.
The first episode is The Sea of Death. The crew land at a beach made of glass, and just as Susan decides to take a paddle in the acid sea, Ian stops her when he sees her shoes are being dissolved. Susan goes back to the TARDIS to get some more, whilst the others discover a submarine. The occupant of one of these submarines, a Vord, leaves some footprints for Susan to follow to a distant temple. The Doctor, Ian and Barbara split up to find Susan, who are then systematically kidnapped by the temple's revolving doors. Inside the temple, Susan does her best to not look at anyone, whilst the white monks inside do battle with Vord intruders. Ian battles with a Vord, and obviously embarrassed at having lost, the Vord turns to cardboard and floats down a pit to his death. The Doctor meets up with an old guy who has a machine that controls all crime and justice on the planet, but the intruders have learned how to counteract it. He upgrades this, but needs 4 of 5 keys for this machine to reactivate it. They were apparently removed early on, and they were scattered across the world, and now needs to be collected again. He asks the Doctor for help. Upon returning to the TARDIS, the Doctor finds out that the old guy has put a force field around it and won't remove it until he stops being a cunt and helps him. He gives them each a travel dial to jump to the key's destinations. When they leave, a Vord kills the old guy, probably for putting a force field around his submarine. Then the next episode, The Velvet Web. Barbara went first and fucked off before the others could catch up. When they do eventually catch up, they find Barbara being treated like an Egyptian goddess. Well, something must be wrong here if they're not trying to kill her. Apparently everyone in the city lives out their greatest desire, including, I assume, those whose greatest desire is to serve others, things that they desire. Make sense of that, will you? Ian is sceptical though. During their sleep, they are all given a hypnotic disc which falls off Barbara during the night. When she wakes, she sees the world to be the dump that it is and not the paradise the others think that it is. Barbara runs away when the locals try and take her to the physician. They then go to a Star Trek episode to report to their leaders, who are just brains in jars, and they order Barbara's destruction and the others to be put to work. Meanwhile, the Doctor marvels over a dirty mug. The brainwashed Ian bumps into Barbara and takes her back to the brains, a plan that backfires when Barbara smashes the brain jars open and breaks the psychic hold they have over everyone. They get the key. The Doctor decides to skip 2 episodes ahead by himself, whilst everyone else, along with 2 new companions, moves on to the next episode. Susan does this a bit quicker than the others though. On to the screaming jungle. The others arrive to find Susan screaming in the jungle, because the jungle was screaming at her. A jungle vine then attacks Susan and she screams again. Should this have been called Scream in the Jungle? Alright, Barbara does some investigating which involves getting caught in rotating doors again. The others want to move on, saying Barbara would have used the time dials and they have the key already anyway, but Ian wants to make sure this is safe, so he leaves the others and goes to look for Barbara. The key they have is discovered to be a fake. Finding Barbara, Ian notices that the vegetation seems to be alive. Ian goes to investigate some iron bars and gets trapped in a cage. Barbara bumps into some dude who keeps the key, but is killed by the jungle vines. Ian escapes and returning to the old guy, instead of telling them where the key is before he dies, he gives them some letters and numbers and tells them to be quick. This turns out not to be the code for the safe, the sadistic cunt. The jungle starts to attack, and in the chaos they discover it's a chemical formula and they find the key. They quickly escape to a snowy mountain. And then comes the snows of terror. They pass out from the cold and get robbed by a creepy beardy bloke who takes them back to his cabin and strokes them. He tells them their previous companions have gone up to the mountain and Ian goes to look for them, leaving Barbara alone with the creepy beardy strokey bloke. Ian finds one of his companions injured and gives him a massage. The other two have gone further ahead apparently. Meanwhile, back in the cabin, it's rape time. Luckily, Ian makes it back in time before he subjects himself to sex with Barbara. Together, they all go to the ice cave where the others went to die. Went to die? They didn't go to die. They just went there.
Well, if you're going to go into an ice cave, you're going to die there.
Well, probably.
Just if you're not dead, it's luck.
Yes. Anyway, due to the special effects being poor, Barbara explains this to the audience. That was courtesy of Irish Guys.
Right.
When they cross a rope bridge, the creepy beardy strokey bloke cuts it down behind them so they can't return. They find the key of a block of ice guarded by ice demons. They melt the ice, run away from the demons whose only skill appears to be falling to their death, and escape with the key. Appearing in a museum exhibit, Ian is knocked unconscious whilst trying to retrieve the key and framed for burglary. The next episode is CSI Millennius, or as they called it, Sentence of Death. The guard, not believing Ian's story that he hasn't done anything because someone beat him to it, informs he is to be put to trial and face a death sentence if he cannot prove his innocence. Oh look, the doctor's here, which is handy as he's going to defend Ian against the Jewish lawmakers. Courtesy of Irish Guy.
Yes, they just look like Jewish lawmakers, that's all. Continue.
The doctor gets the case adjourned for 2 days while they prepare. Cue a one-scene montage of preparation. The doctor stages a reconstruction, probably just so he can hit Barbara. The guard involved with the theft falls under questioning from Barbara. How did he ever make it as a guard in the first place? At the trial, the doctor produces the fake key and the guard reveals himself in shock and is promptly killed. This, however, doesn't get Ian off and he's still on death row. Susan then gets kidnapped and is threatened with death. Rather than relief, though, Barbara seems concerned.
Susan kidnapped, is she? That's a shock. I think Kim Bauer in 24 got kidnapped less than Susan.
Maybe they could swap tips. I don't know.
They could swap them from different. They could swap them in different shows. That'd be good. Actually, I don't know if she would be any worse or better.
Maybe Susan regenerated in Turkey.
That could be true.
Who knows?
They're both as annoying.
The last episode, Keys of Marinus. Time on Millennius is revealed to be measured by whether the pointer is near the star or not. When questioning the kidnapper's wife, she says, "I know nothing," but mentions Susan's kidnap when she couldn't possibly know about it. Classic mistake. Susan is rescued. Probably wasn't a mistake. Ian looked at the staffing on the wall to see how long he has left. Nobody knows. It's a bit to the star. The doctor reveals that he knows where the key was all along and Ian is pardoned. They return to the machine with the keys, but obviously not all at the same time. I think they ate each other. The two new companions, however, get captured by the Vord while saying, "I know nothing," all the time.
You like that, don't you?
Yes. Ian takes the last key back to the old man, which is actually a Vord doing cosplay. Ian gives him the key, But wait, he gave him the fake key. Tricky Ian. The machine is destroyed. The Doctor, Ian, Barbara and Susan leave the planet. With Justice wrecked.